Shalom, call halal is what I say. 111. Call halal Yahweh Shem Yahushai B'Hashem HaKadosh. Double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of GMS, Great Millstone, even the elders that came before them that taught us His truth. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word and truth and in sincerity in the hopeful light tabernacle of David. I am the brother slash elder. Shalom and salutations to you all. This little short, quick hit is going to be called. It's going to be called "Be Ye Faithful." All right. When I don't have a subject for a lesson, I just go with whatever the Spirit brings to me from what I call out of the air. So, and it's not hard. Something will just pop up. And what popped up this time was "Be Ye Faithful." So I've typed in "Be Ye Faithful," right? And the only thing that came up is "Be Thou Faithful," right? Right here. All right. Everything led to just Revelation 2 and 10. So, we all know that this has to do with basically the alligator Alcatraz. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through this real quick. This is also dealing with saying no to the MOTB, right? So let's go through this real quick. This is Revelation 2 and 10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful until death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Okay? So those things which you're going to suffer are torture, right? Beatings, right? Starvation, things of that sort. Deprivation, light, sleep deprivation, what those guys are over there going through. Mosquitoes, just, intolerable food, just anything. That's what this means. Do not, or fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer while you're locked up. Okay? In bad conditions. All right? Rain, cold. Here's a sheet for a blanket in the middle of the swamp. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, right? Guantanamo, Abu Ghraib, L.A. County, Rikers Island, that ye may be tried. What is that tried? Right? Trials and tribulations. Waterboarding. Electrodes on your nuts. Okay? Torture. What did Yahushua go through before they hung him by a tree, as per Acts, 5 and 30? Right? And ye shall have tribulation 10 days, some amount of time, 10 days, maybe beyond 10 days, maybe 20, maybe 40, until you give up the ghost. However many days it takes. It might take 2 days for you to succumb. Hell, Yahushua was out of there in a day after that torture and the hanging. Be thou faithful until death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Isn't that what Yahushua went through? That's how he got his crown. How did Yahushua get his crown? Well, he feared none of those things that he was about to suffer, knowing what his fate was. What happened? The devil cast him into prison, right? Didn't they? Did they come and grab him in the Garden of Gethsemane, put him on trial? And then he was tried, right? Right? Gave him a little mock trial. Give us Barabbas, right? And then the tribulation, the torture, and then the hanging, and then the crown, in that order. Anyway, back to the subject at hand. So let's start here. What I got was be ye, let me type it out, be ye faithful. This is what came to me. See, nothing comes up. Faithful, nothing comes up. Be ye faithful, be thou. Let's skip thou. Right? That's what comes up. Be ye, be thou, same thing. Nothing else comes up. Anyway, so that's where we are. Let's check it out. Be faithful. There you go. All right. Remain faithful. Oh, be faithful. Okay. Be faithful, be faithful. Be thou. Be faithful until death. Be faithful until death. Be faithful, be faithful. Be faithful to the point of death. If you must die for your faith. Woo! Okay, let's read this. Amplified. Look at all this faith. Look at all this faithful surrounding me every day. Fear nothing that you are about to suffer. Be aware that the devil is about to throw, as Jake, throw some of you into prison that you may be tested in your faith. That you may be tested in your faith. Be faithful. And for 10 days thou will have tribulation. Be faithful to the point of death if you must die for your faith. Be faithful to the point of death if you must die in your faith. Well, you do have to die in your faith, if must needs be. And I will give you a crown, and I will give you the crown consisting of life. That's a lot of faith in this Amplified. Let's read it again. Fear nothing that you are about to suffer. Be aware that the devil is about to throw some of you into prison, that you may be tested in your faith, and for 10 days you will have tribulation. Be faithful to the point of death if you must die for your faith, and I will give you the crown consisting of life. Okay? We're looking for faith and being faithful. Be thou faithful. Be faithful to the point of death, until death. But if you are faithful until you die, made to suffer, the devil will throw some of you into jail. Okay, how about that? And you will be tested and made to suffer for 10 days. But if you're faithful until you die, I will reward you with a glorious life. Okay? Be thou faithful. Your suffering will go on for 10 days. Be faithful until death. Be faithful to me, even if it means death, and I will give you life as your prize of victory. 10 days you will undergo suffering. Be faithful until death. Remain faithful even to the point of death. Okay? Pretty plain. But see, you have to, if you examine all of these things, right? Because a nigga will make it into something. See, what are we dealing with here? All right? This is really what it means to be a man. To lay down your life for your brother. Right? Let's get that. That's what this is about. What did Yahushua do? What is all of this dying and being faithful until death? What are you doing? What is this? All right? Faithful until death. All right? Let's see. Lay down your nothing. You get it on the phone. Salah. Bear with me and see if I can find it. Because what did Yahushua do? Isn't that like the most noble? Let's see, to lay down. Is that only on the street? Right, 4. Another KJV, John 15:13. No greater love. Okay, so that goes directly to Yahushua now. John 15. Salakia for taking so long. I rode the short bus and I'm proud. John 15, what? 13? No greater love. Let's get that real quick. Salak. Greater love has no one than this, is the header. John 15:13. Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. In King James. Ye are my friends, if ye do whatsoever I command you. Where's that in the red? No red here? Who's that? It's gotta be. I will show. Let's see. This is my commandment. Okay. Let's see. I will show them. Okay. That's it. That's all we need. Right? What did he do? Greater love hath no man than this. Right? That a man lay down his life for his friends. Is that not what he did right here? And when we go back here? Okay. Did Yahushua fear none of those things that he was about to suffer? Yeah, he froze up a little bit here and there. Right? And he bargained with the Most High. He pled to the Most High to call it off if it was in his, if he could do that. And the Most High didn't answer. Right? And then what did he do? He manned the fuck up and he did what needed to be done. And that's what it means to bear your cross. What does it mean to bear your cross? Be thou faithful until death, right after you had that 10-day beat down. Same thing. What is the ensemble? Anyway, be faithful. Understand you might have to take this beat down. Let's just read some of these. This is James 1:12. Blessed is the man who preserves under trial. You will be tried. Here we go. They're going to deliver us unto the gates of the nobles. All right? Because when he has stood the test, he will receive a crown of life that the Most High has promised to those who love him, as James 1 and 12. Matthew 5 and 10 through 12. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people insult you, here it comes, persecute you, here it comes, and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Rejoice and be glad, because great is your reward in heaven. In the same way they persecuted the prophets before you, which was you. You've done this before. Do it one more time and let's get on this chariot. 1 Peter 4:12 through 13. Beloved, right? What's that? The elect, at this point, the hopeful elect, do not be surprised if the fiery trial, right? Here comes the bullshit that has come upon you, as though something strange were happening today. Don't trip this. We all go through it. Been going on, right, in all your lives. But rejoice that you share in the sufferings of Yahweh Shai, of Salaki, of Hamashiach, because just like he was on that cross, we got to bear ours. We got to take the ass whooping, which is the torture, whatever it may be, cat o' nine tails, before they string you up. Okay? Scourge. What is a scourge? Right? On some Abu Ghraib shit, on some revamped Guantanamo, not old Guantanamo, revamped Guantanamo. All right? But rejoice that you share in the sufferings of Hamashiach, so that you may be overjoyed at the revelation of his glory. Okay? So on and on and on. It's about suffering. It's about taking that ass whooping. Right? Really, that's how you come out on the other side and get the crown. That's what this is saying. How you get the crown? Don't be afraid to take that ass whooping. And Yahweh Shai is the example all day. So start there, right? Start with your head in the guillotine. That's what this is about. 20 and 4. Might have to get that head chopped up. Revelation 20 and 4. And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And them that met the guillotine were there too. Salakia. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahweh Shai, and for the word of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received the mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with Mashiach 1,000 years. So that head chopping, that were beheaded, that goes back here when you was locked up, right? They hung Yahweh Shai. By his neck. Well, Acts 5 and 30, the God of our fathers raised up Yahweh Shai, whom ye slew and hanged on a tree. No, they nailed him to a cross. They nailed him to a cross. See? Nailed, N-A-I-L-E-D, him on a cross. Rosy cross. See that? They hang all niggas on a cross. See? That's what you do with a Negro. See? The other day, right, I showed this dude. He pulled out the Bible. I said, read Acts 13. We got right here. He said, Niger, We went here. He didn't. After he heard that, he ran. He ran from the whole thing. I don't want to talk about that. He withstood everything, but when he heard this, he said, Niger. I said, okay, well, let's.
Strong's G 3526. Niger. Niger.
What does that mean? It doesn't mean black. Why doesn't it mean black? Because Hamites are black, stupid. It means a Christian. Hamites are not Christian. Christians are followers of Yahushua. These are Israelites. See, this is synonymous with Israel. This, you can slip a Hamite in there, right? And Miriam will get turned white, tripping. Let's have no confusion whatsoever. Look, all Israel. That's what that word means. Look, whoop, whoop. That's what that word means right there. Boom. It don't mean black. Okay? It means a Christian. We can prove it. Let's prove it. That's easy. Acts 11 and 25, then departed Barnabas, remember that name, to Tarsus for to seek Saul. Remember that name, and when they had found him, brought him Antioch. Remember that name, Antioch. And it came to pass that a whole year that they assembled themselves. Remember that church, and taught much people. And the disciples were called or was called that. Were or was? You tell me, was called or were called Christian? Was called or were called Christians? You tell me. Let's ask Barnabas and Saul, right, who are both prophets and teachers at that church. Let's ask Barnabas and Saul, was called or were called Christians? I wonder. Let's see. Barnabas and Saul, right? And they went to Antioch and was called or were called niggers. Not Nigers, but they went to Antioch and, right, they were or was called niggers, right? That church, right? First, where's first? First, they called them, first were called niggers right here in Antioch. And they called them a bunch of Christians too, but the point is that they were calling them Christians, and here's what it means, right? These niggers, Christian, that's synonymous. They were or was called. Was it Barnabas or was it Saul? Were they prophets or were they teachers? I'm sure that they were in Antioch first. My niggas, it's time to have faith. Be ye faithful until death, my niggas. When they start throwing the Christians to the lions, in the last days, they're going to persecute the Christians. Have ye faith. Be ye faithful. Call on the name of Yahweh. You Christians better call on the name of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. With that, we hope you'll like gratified your brother and pieces to show.